Welcome to Charred Oak, the business, bourbon, and becoming podcast where bold ideas meet smooth pours. Hosted by entrepreneurs Matt Gerard and Shane Tice. This is your needed pour of inspiration, insight, and a splash of something strong. Each episode, Matt and Shane dive deep into the world of business, growth, and entrepreneurship, sharing real stories, practical strategies, and the mindset shifts that fuel success. Whether you're building your empire or just getting started, this is your space to learn, grow, and become. And of course, no episode is complete without the Bourbon of the Week, a curated tasting and review that pairs perfectly with ambition. So, pour a glass, pull up a seat, and let's build something great, one sip at a time.
Welcome back to Charred Oak BBB. I will be your host tonight, Matt Gerard of Downrange Firearms.
And I'm your co-host, Shane Tice from 926 Crafted Apparel. The sign's gone.
I'm still not getting used to saying crafted apparel.
I know.
It's been years and years of embroidery, and I'm trying. I work very hard at it.
You're trying.
Yes. And our fantastic guest. Holy God, this is going to be a long night. Go ahead and break out your intro and kind of tell people who you are and all the good jazz that goes with that.
All right, my name is Brad Schabacker. I am a health coach here in Rochelle, but not just in Rochelle. I coach clients from all over the U.S., and actually, you might not believe this, but I've coached a client in Singapore.
Oh, wow.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah. So health is my passion. I have obviously a health coaching business here in Rochelle remotely. I don't have a brick and mortar. I just love helping people get healthy and like understand and walk with them and just change their lives, honestly. My hashtag that I created when I first started this was lives are changing, right? And they are, and it's great to see people's lives change right in front of you from week to week, right? And people start to understand that they are capable. But also, in being in Rochelle, born and raised in Rochelle, support Rochelle businesses. I don't have a brick and mortar, but I just love Rochelle small business, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And to support Rochelle small business.
What's the hometown mentality? If there's a small business in your town, whether it appeals to you or not, you want to help them, period, because it gives you that wonderful hometown kind of vibe and feel, which is why it's so important for us to all be working together to some degree to keep the brick and mortars alive, keep the in-home businesses alive, and expanding and growing and creating a fertile enough environment that new businesses can kind of come to fruition, which is a big source of why we started this podcast. Was if there are people out there that have the potential, have the skill set, have the tool, have the product that they want to move, you need to figure out how to do that.
Yeah.
And that's why we came in and why we like having you on, and we like, Brendan last week was fantastic, and Alan and AP and all these other guys that have done this stuff and helped out and participated. We're trying to show people that we're normal people that are starting these businesses and surviving and succeeding and where that's kind of come and go. So it's nice kind of getting that perspective and hearing that exact thing from you, where it's, you are a small business in town that wants to see everybody else be successful just as well.
Well, and I think we were talking about this before the show started, is supporting one another, right? Like, again, don't have a brick and mortar, but like, I want to support you guys because we all take a chance.
Mm-hmm.
We all take a chance, right?
Yep.
And roll the dice, and because we have a passion, we have a passion, and I want to see you guys succeed just as much as I want to succeed. You know what I'm saying? And again, especially being, hometown Rochelle.
Oh, absolutely. So with the health coaching, how did you get started into, when did that start?
So that started almost a decade ago.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, been doing it for 10 years. Honestly, built a heck of a business. Again, rolling the dice, surprisingly, right? I went into it kind of blind. The only reason I went into it was because of my change. I was in my early 30s. I'm 45 now. And I'm looking around. I'm like, gosh, I got to change. I have to change. My kid, especially for my kids and my family. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody asks, why did you change? And I said, that's the big thing, is the why. Like, why did I change? Because I know who was watching. My kids were young at the time. I knew they were watching their dad, and I'm like, this is not how it's supposed to be. So I personally changed, and I decided I'm never going back and just continue that. And then, you know, I got consistent, changed my diet, changed my consistency working out, which I don't bust my ass in the gym or cardio, any of that stuff. I'm just consistent with it. And I think that's a huge thing for people to hear, is like, you don't have to work out or for hours upon hours. You just have to be consistent, right? So knew my kids are watching, and I'm like, the way the world is going, 70% of America is overweight or obese. I'm like, I'm not going to be one of those people. So not only did I change, lose 30 pounds, but I've kept it off for 12 years now and built upon that, right? So I'm like, okay, that's cool. But like, I think I might be able to help people now, like 4 or 5 years into my health journey. So I'm like, I'm going to try this health coaching thing and see if I can help people. And it turns out I can help people. Like, you know, I might not be for everybody, but I'm for somebody.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And,
Yeah.
and it turns out I've been for hundreds of people, you know, to this day. And like I was telling you guys earlier, like, I've even coached a client in Singapore and helped him. So the internet's powerful, right? Like, social media is powerful. I don't know how I became friends with this guy in Singapore. He saw my stuff on social media. He reached out to me, and I would have to get on a call with him. I forget the time change. Like, I think it's like 8 hours. It was like 6 o'clock a.m. my time, and it was like 9 o'clock p.m. his time.
Oh, wow.
So I'm like, he's like, so I talk to my clients weekly. They're free to text me when they need me. But I'm like, all right, I'm going to get on this call at 6 a.m. and it's 9 p.m. M time. But it's the passion, right? Just like you guys have for your business. And he made a great change, and it was just really cool to see. Oh, and I also had to add international calling to my plan for that, but it was definitely worth it. It was definitely worth it.
Okay, then. So you got into the coaching then as part of yours. So is that part of a like broader thing? What training was involved in that? So how did you make that mechanism happen? So you said you changed, you wanted to lose weight, get healthy. What does that like specifically look like?
It looked like, for me, is honestly just like passion. Like, I don't have, honestly, just to be honest with you, any certifications. But I do daily, like, I'm listening to health things daily, like the trends, everything that's going on, paying attention. You know, people are always asking, like, well, you're not a doctor, you're not a certified trainer or this or that. I'm like, you know, I forget what the hours they say. I listen to this in a podcast, another podcast, but if you put in so many hours of reading or listening per day or per week, like, you can become an expert. I'm not an expert. I know what I'm doing, but does that make sense? You guys ever heard that? Like,
it's the 10,000 hour rule.
Yes,
that's
exactly
what
what
I'm talking about, right?
Yep.
Like, I religiously, like, it's my passion. So I listen to podcasts, listen to books, read books on health. It's my passion. So that's what I
That's where I got into the firearm stuff. I don't think you've seen my office necessarily in the back room, but I have an entire wall that's just a library of firearms tactics, training, education books that I've read 90% of them. I've been to trainings all over literally the country, and in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, for crying out loud. I've been all over, talked to everybody, you know, wrote stuff, created content, et cetera, to kind of reach that same thing, like you were saying, the 10,000 hour rule, to reach that level of expertise. Because there is no degree in firearms in
Right.
my situation.
Right.
How do I get to be an expert at doing this? And I'm going to pat myself on the back and say that I am an expert in firearms and tactics. And it was through self-discovery and self-research. There's some things that there are no degrees, and even some things there are degrees, doesn't mean they're experts at it. Some of the best engineers we've ever had in the world did not go to school.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think, honestly, like, I think you guys will hopefully agree, experience.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I think experience trumps any certification.
Oh, yeah.
If I go through a decade of helping people and listening to people, what they tell me is going on and how they're changing, whether it be somebody that needs to lose 100 pounds or somebody that needs to lose 10 pounds, like, I've been through it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So, like, experience is huge.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I cut you. I think I was cutting you off there.
Yeah, I was just gonna say it's interesting in that, and you say the 10,000 hour rule because like you said, there is no playbook for your job. There's no playbook for embroidery.
Yeah.
There's no
Right.
playbook for custom apparel creating. There's somebody's opinion.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
your opinion on health may be completely different than the person. So you're tailoring your teaching, your expertise to each client, much like you do with guns, much like I do with. So it's still business.
Yeah.
It's it's still the same processes that we go through. It's just I don't think you need to be a licensed therapist to have
help
good
people.
input.
To help
To
people.
help people.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
And that's what it all comes down to,
Mm-hmm.
helping people. And that's what it's all about. Like, and that's what I love and what I want to do. It's big for all of
Yep.
us and all our businesses.
Yep.
And the reality is expertise, like when you break it down into it, expertise is more about critical thinking than it is about being able to, say, I know A,
Oh,
B,
great.
C, D, E, F. It's, I know enough about the big picture to know that if circumstances change, I can still adapt and be successful. So you might have a weight loss, journey, a health improvement journey that applied specifically to you, but you might go to another client that's, like you said, whole different list of other medical conditions, etc. But as you've studied the minutia of how you were successful, you can apply that in different circumstances in different ways
Yeah.
using different tools because you're not only stuttering like me. Apparently I'm stuttering plenty tonight. You're not just stuttering. Oh, my God. I'm going home. Guys, it was great having Brad tonight, but this is going to be a short episode.
The night
you.
we decide not to drink.
Oh, my God. It's the most...
Tonight-
Well, what's the deal with that?
Tonight's episode brought to you by Bubbler.
And here's the thing. I will say this. I was prepared. I told you guys earlier, right? And I wanted to give a shout out to my wife on this podcast. But I was like prepared to drink bourbon tonight, and I'm not a bourbon drinker, right? Like, I honestly don't like it, but like I can drink it, right? But my wife is a connoisseur of bourbon, and I love it. I'm like,
Go home. Send
I wanna
her
be
in.
like
That
her.
way,
I want to do that because it looks cool. Like I want, and I
Got
want
cool ice
it.
cubes.
Yeah, look at those cubes.
Remind me to make good ice cubes for the next episode.
We got to plug the fridge in first.
We do.
Yes.
We do need to plug the fridge in
Yes.
first, too. Does that have a freezer component?
It does.
Oh, perfect.
It does. It freezes from the top to the bottom.
That's right. Because I got those big orbs. I got the perfectly crystal
Yeah.
clear orbs. So we're going to bring those for the next one. But, yeah, no, it's and it's a learning process because learning to drink whiskey for me was I hated whiskey when I started drinking whiskey. And they started me with scotch. So they started me, screw training wheels.
Right.
We're gonna Evel Knievel on a motorcycle 100 miles an hour jumping over buses. That's how I started whiskey. But they knew, my friends are very, very, that same thing, connoisseur, just like your wife.
Yeah.
They knew where to start me to be like, hey, this is what you need. You need a simple one. We're going to teach you the flavors. Focus on the flavors, not on the burn. And if you can do that, that's how they taught me to overcome it. And then it just went from there and it spiraled.
I think for me, it was going to distilleries and, going on the tours.
Yeah.
Because you're going in, you're getting educated on one of the bourbons or whatever. And to this day, I'll say the best tour that I've been to is Whiskey Acres over
Really?
in
Yeah.
in where DeKalb.
DeKalb.
I need to go. We need to go there and do
We
that
do.
tour.
They do such a good job of like simplifying it,
Which is huge.
Yeah,
Brad,
And that's
We're
what
going-
I
field trip,
do.
Brad.
That's what I do with my clients or
Right.
health. Like, it's not. I simplify it for them. You know what I'm saying? That's cool. Anyway,
Yeah.
sorry.
No, you're fine. But yeah, it's just they break it down. They're like, okay, you're gonna drink this, and it's gonna taste like crap.
Yeah.
And then you're gonna drink it again, and it's gonna taste better. And then you're gonna taste it, and you're gonna taste this. And they go through like a whole process, and it's like by the end, you're like, okay, that was really good. And then
Yeah.
they tell you were drinking water. No.
right. That was water.
The trick they told me the first time was inhale deep first, and that's
Yeah.
going to hurt, and then sip, because that actually will kill the burn on the taste side of it.
Really?
So then you'll actually get the flavor of what you're tasting instead of the burn. So if you inhale first, kills all your nose hairs, and then you can just taste the actual flavor that you're going for.
All
But
right,
they
I'm
do
gonna try
such, not just Whiskey Acres, Barnstormers, any of the local distilleries generally do a really good job of offering something that everybody will like. From whether, if you're not a bourbon person, then, maybe they're going to do, a lighter whiskey or, a flavored, like the Whiskey Acres has the bourbon cream. Oh, give me a glass of that, in a fireplace, and I'm not getting up for the rest of the night, But I mean, yeah, it's just, I don't know. It's as much about the experience as it is what you're doing.
100%.
Yeah.
What you're drinking almost matters less than that
Yeah.
experience.
Yeah.
In this particular case, I know you're not a big drinker, especially these days. So I was like, all right, this is a good one, and
Well, here, let me ask you this. Why would you say that?
you've told me before that you're not a big drinker anymore.
I have?
Yeah.
Okay, I will say I'm not a big drinker, but I'm not afraid to have a drink. And I love that you said that. I love that you said that because people now after a decade, they know like what I do, a health coach and stuff. And they're like, they'll see me out. So like, especially like when I go out in Rochelle, me and Emily will go to dinner and people I know or coach or know what I do, they look over and be like, that guy's drinking? Like he's a health coach.
Yeah, I've seen you drink with me before.
Right. Yeah.
Because we went to the Young Professionals event. You had a drink there, but
Yeah.
you told me, you're like, I'm not a big drinker. You drink, but
No,
you're not a big drinker.
I'm not gonna. Yeah, not a big drinker, right? But
I'm
I
a
drink.
big drinker.
But
I'm a big drinker by size. I don't drink a lot. Like that, and back to what you said. Why is there no drinks? I rarely drink during the week.
Yeah.
Like rarely drink during the week. So
Yeah.
when I come in here, by the time we get in here, I'm like, do I want to drink? And sometimes I'm like, yeah, I think I kind of do. And then I have like 3 drinks of it, and I'm like, oh, this is going to be a long hour because I'm going to have to force this down because it,
Yeah.
But on the weekends, I do enjoy having, an old fashioned or,
Yeah.
a Friday night beer here and there, But after that, I'm like, yeah, okay, I'm done.
But I do tell my clients, and getting back to the kind of the story I was telling you is like, well, that's not healthy. You're drinking, that's not healthy. I'm like, yes, but I'm real.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I'm a real health coach, right? And honestly, like a decent amount of the clients I coach, they like to have drinks.
Mhm.
So I advise them on how to drink better, if that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Because if it's part of your life, it's probably gonna be part of your life for the rest of your life. You know what I'm saying? Like, unless you have a problem, which that is what it is. But I'm like,
Nope,
all right,
no problem
well,
here, guys.
well, let's switch from a heavy beers, IPAs to like, all right, maybe we should start looking at vodka and water or something like that. Like I'm helping people drink healthier. I know that sounds dumb or better to get to their goals and to understand like it can all coexist.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because
Heavy beers, hard carbs, and lots of sugar and all that
Yeah.
crap is absolutely worse. Like you said, vodka, water, things like that.
the sugary drinks too, like those are huge to cut out and understand. Like, you're drinking a margarita, like a regular margarita. Okay, let's order a skinny margarita where it's not as much sugar. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Simple things like that.
Yeah.
But I know people probably aren't going to cut out alcohol. I'm not going to cut out alcohol, but here I am. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
My doctor, every time I go in for a checkup, says, "You still smoking cigars?" I'm like, "Yeah, I have like one a week with my old man." He's like, "You need to stop doing that." I'm like, "Well, I can lie to you, or we can work with what we got."
yeah,
Because I'm not cutting out this. My dad's 80. You know what? I have so much finite time in this world. He likes to enjoy a cigar with his son. I am
Yeah.
not denying him that because I might get a marginal increase in quality of life, but I'm not removing that, or quality of health.
Right.
Quality of life, frankly, is better with a cigar and a beer with my old man on the porch. Never changing that. Sorry, not going to be the thing to change. And like you said, you're a real coach from that standpoint going, I can tell you what the ideal is, but if I know you're intentionally not going to do it,
Right.
let's work with what we actually have to
Yeah.
operate, as long as it's not to a, I don't care about anything, I'm ignoring everything you say, but I'm healthier because you're my coach.
Right. Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this then, because you mentioned you have one client in Singapore. How do you reach other people? Are there networks that you're involved in? Is it just your social media? How does that work? What does that look like?
So, and I think with you guys too, it started with creating a brand on social media.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, social media is, I think people know it's big, but I don't think they know how, a lot of businesses, and especially small businesses, don't understand just how big it is.
Mhm.
Again, I know you guys do, but like, I've created my whole business on social media.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you know, clients start coming to you, you get them results, and then they tell their family and friends, then they reach out to you. It's that, but, you know, we've had quite a few conversations about social media
Mm-hmm.
and how important that is. And, you know, it's such a, luckily, and I know you can pay to boost ads or put ads out there on social media, but you can grow so big just organically if somebody wants to, you know, grow their business. And I think a lot of small businesses are not doing that because they don't think it's that important, or they just don't do it.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
It's extremely time consuming.
It is.
Well,
to keep up, to make the daily post, to do the videos, it is. And Matt and I have talked. Yeah, Matt and I have talked about this a lot, and you know, like we'll go through phases. Dana and I will go through phases where we'll put content out all the time. Boom, boom, boom. We'll put all kinds of content out, and then it'll be like I'll forget one day, and then 2 days go by, and then a week goes by, and it's like, oh crap, I got to put out some content, you know, just to get the algorithms going again. But there's a great tool to do that. Scheduling posts.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I got home the other night. I scheduled 18 posts.
That's awesome.
Now I don't have to do anything for 18 days.
And here's the thing, luckily right now, it's free.
Yeah, right.
Guys, it's
Yeah,
free.
right.
You know, and
Yep.
all of you out there listening, social media is free.
Yep.
Yep.
You know, like I said, you can pay extra, but like right now, it's free.
Yep.
You know, businesses back in the day, and still this day, they're paying to put ads in the paper.
Yeah.
You got to pay to do that.
And it generates
Zero. Yeah.
No offense to the newspaper if anybody's watching.
No, none at all.
You're probably not. But we make no money. We're doing it because we, you know, have this wonderful mystique of let's keep the papers alive. But the reality is I get very little return on investment from newspaper ads.
Yeah. But on the flip side of that, social media can also be extremely detrimental too, because of the power of 10. You tell 10 people, one person's going to tell 10 people bad things, but 10 people are going to tell one person a good thing. You know, I mean, so you're fighting that balance, and the way that social media has become, everybody has an opinion, and everybody's an expert, and everybody is right.
And some people are just dicks.
Yeah, there's no
Oh.
discussion anymore.
There are just people that will troll just because it's amusing. And they're just there to wreck everything because they want to watch the world burn. And they will show up and you go, well, son of a...
Yep. This just went to. I made a post the other night. Legit question. I had a legit question on the Rochelle page. Why did they take out the turn lanes in 64 and 251? That's all I asked. I didn't know. I'm like, oh, somebody will tell me. Well, I got 31. They're putting in a roundabout. Okay. You saw it the first time. Stop talking. We don't need 31 of those, you know.
But we do.
We do.
I do.
Yeah, yeah.
I do.
Then I got, you know, the city of Rochelle's a bunch of idiots, blah, 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 blah. They would screw up a wet dream. What? okay, what value are you adding there?
Not even relevant. but
Not
yes.
no.
Yeah.
And then I got the state is doing a test to see if a roundabout would work. What does that have to do with taking the turn lanes out?
Now.
And then I got a whole list of complaints about truck drivers, which again, completely irrelevant.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I wish there was a function in Facebook or in any social media that when you got an answer, you could stop comments
Yeah, but here's what I'll say. Here's what I've learned.
or
about-
duplicate comments.
Here's what I've learned about social media. You can be a person that falls into all the negativity, or you can you what you put out. You're always going to get negative comments. I get plenty of negative comments, but how you handle that negative commenter.
Yeah.
Delete.
Well, no, I don't delete any comments. Like, I want people to see it, but that shows a lot about you,
Certainly.
me,
Yeah.
and you. You know what I'm saying? How you handle that.
Yeah.
So, like, are you firing back at them, or are you like, hey, I got a internet hug for you. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, just kill them with kindness. You put out what you put out is a lot of what you get. You're
Yep.
always going to have the negative,
Yep.
and you just
Yep.
deal with that.
Yep.
But you're putting stuff out. We're putting stuff out because we know we can help people.
I think one of the worst things that a business owner can do is delete negative comments
Yeah.
on their social media.
It depends on the negative comment. Because I'm thinking more the hardcore trolls that are there literally just to start fights with other people. And when other people start engaging that, if I can knock it down, because I had this problem when I opened the shop. First thing on Rochelle, you see somebody open a new gun shop in town. Great, we're going to have a new active, we just imported a new active shooter to Rochelle. I responded right to it. Hey, actually, I'm a full-time police officer here in the area.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
created the active shooter response program for the program, and my number one goal is school safety, and these are the mechanisms we're putting in place. That one I'm perfectly happy because that guy looked like a dick, and I looked amazing at the back end of it. And 15 people right after that was like, we've taken his concealed carry class, we've known him for years, and that was supportive. But there is some level of negativity that's just, it's not relevant to anything, and it's
Yeah.
detrimental to everything. Those I will always, you're not ruining that for them. You don't need to participate. Block, go away.
I think in our case, we've had, especially when we started, we had a few customers that maybe didn't get the service that they expected, and they voiced their opinion.
Yes.
And
that's a valid bit
right,
of negativity.
right? But the former business partner was like, "Oh, we got to delete that.
No.
That's got to go away. We can't have that on the site." Why not? Why not? Why not show? Hey, Sally down the street is pissed because her shirt, the emblem peeled off after 3 washings, and she's letting us know her opinion on it. And I responded to her with, I really truly apologize. Bring it back in. We'll replace it. Blah 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 blah. I want people to see that there was a problem and how we addressed it, because that's going to grow tenfold.
Oh, exactly.
That's huge.
I had one come up 2 months ago, I think. Same thing. It was right in the middle of when I was buying this place, so I was a little thin, to say the least, and I had missed somebody was calling about a renewal class, and I said, hey, he pounded up. This guy's never around. He never answers his phone, and I had 10 people go, give him a minute. He's got a lot going on right now, but he will bend over backwards to fit you in wherever, whenever, however. I'm like, that was the best one to not respond to in a negative fashion. It was a public post, so it's not like I could delete that one or block that one anyway. But I went to go to respond, hey, I'm so sorry. If there's any way I didn't need to. By the time I got there were 10 other responses from other customers
Right.
that I did treat right,
Yeah.
that allow you to. And that's almost better than you, in certain circumstances, that's almost better than you responding. If somebody else came forward, hey, did you bring it to them and let them know? Because I bet you they'll fix it for you.
Yeah, yeah, right.
Well,
If
and that's when you guys know in both those instances, like when people come, they're watching those negative comments on your Facebook page, and they come to defend you.
Oh, yeah.
That's when you know
Yep.
you're
Yep.
creating a brand. You've
Exactly.
helped people,
Yep.
and to see how you fix it, right? Like you said, like
Yep.
you want people to see, like, okay, yeah, bring the shirt back. We'll take care of it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, as a small business,
Yep.
it's huge.
And I think there's another, and I've noticed with a lot of business people, that the social media, the ones that don't want to do social media, is they're not comfortable creating content. especially anything face to face. I've definitely noticed. I think, and correct me if you have experienced something different, because you're always on your postings. You're talking in your postings. A lot of people don't want to be in front of the camera, and when they are, they're very uncomfortable doing it.
Yeah.
Because nobody's a paid act. Most people are not paid actors. So when you say, "Hey, get on here and just riff," because like when I had Kyla working for me, still she's like, "I don't want to do these. Don't care." My guys, I don't force it on the guys, but sorry, you're a 23-year-old girl who uses social media. We're putting you on camera. You don't need to do lives. You can pre-record them. I will do lives. I don't have any problem riffing, because anybody who's watching the Downrange Natural History Museum episodes realizes that is live.
I love that.
I am, and some of them go absolutely, but tits up and are absolutely atrocious, and some of them go really, really well. But I'm like, no, you need to get your face in front of this. My other employees are 50, 60, 48, 50, and 55 and 60 years old. I'm not making them get on there and riff and do videos, because they're not going to.
No.
I'm not going to win that one, because it's not a skill set that I can develop at this point, unless they have a desire to do it. But with Kyla, I'm like, you like talking to people. You're good at talking to people, and you want the attention. So instead of doing it like I do it, why don't we rehearse it? I will walk you through that, and that was kind of a training program that I did with her, was, hey, we're going to come up with some ideas. If you don't have any because you're brain locked, ChatGPT will write you a script.
Right.
Use the tools that are available. If you don't want to write prose, and that's fine. But let's rehearse it a couple of times, get in front of your camera, pre-record it, and then post it. Live videos, infinitely better. We've discussed this ad nauseum, and we can touch on that a little bit today too, just so people kind of really get into that one. But any content is going to be better than nothing, because like you said, if you forget, you lose traction.
Yep.
You need to be keeping to do it to maintain it.
Yep.
Record something and then get it out there. If you need to rehearse it 10 times, that's fine. Nobody's asking you to riff instantaneously on a live.
Right.
If you can, I appreciate it, because it's better for everything, because whenever you hit live, it's now does a live stream, it gives a notification, and then it puts it on your stories.
Yep.
So you get the triple whammy of everybody seeing that content. A video is just a video, unless you also post it to your stories as well.
Yeah.
But there's extra steps. One is an automatic, hey, if you can riff, do that, because it's going to be better for you. But people don't want to be in front of the camera. People are very uncomfortable being in front of the camera.
Well, here's a fun fact about me, which a lot of people now, after watching me on social media, I'm very much an introvert. I am, like, I can sit here and talk to you guys like this in this setting, and I can do videos, which at the beginning was not easy, right? But like, if I go out, me and my wife go out, or we go out to a gathering with a larger crowd, like, I am not comfortable. Like, I can, if someone comes up to me and has that one-on-one conversation with me, like, boom, I can do that. But like, I don't want to be around crowds. I know it sounds weird, but like, I do it, and I got out of my comfort zone, and I think that's a big thing that why people don't grow, and why I've been able to grow and continue, personally, not even business-wise, just personally, is because I made a decision just to continue to get out of my comfort zone. And I'm doing it right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, you guys asked me to be on here. I'm like, oh my gosh. Like, I'm like, but the first thing I'm like, hell yeah. I'm like, yep, I'm doing it. Like, I don't care. I'm going to do it scared. And that's been kind of my motto, just do it scared.
It's weird. And we've talked about this on previous episodes. For me, the podcast is very uncomfortable. Like, and it's not uncomfortable, like, I don't want to do it, but it's outside my wheelhouse. Yeah. But you put me on stage in front of 2,000 people at a water ski show, and I'll riff and BS my way through a whole ski show without even looking at what's going on behind me, because I have 30-something years of doing it, and I understand the process, and I understand what's going on without having to look at it. Yeah. But here it's like, okay, I got to think about a question about not eating moon pies when I get home at 9 o'clock tonight.
Well, now I want a moon pie, so thanks a lot for that one, Jane. Right. Thanks, co-host. Oh, my God.
That's awesome. And I won't judge you if you do have them. All right.
You better.
It'll probably be Raisin Bran, not moon pies tonight.
Oh, that's fair.
That's fine.
But something I've also noticed with social media that people get lost in is there is a degree of any content is better than no content. That is a true statement-ish.
I will say.
Ish. I'd say 70-30, that is a true statement. There is some garbage you can put out there. But it will, your social media response will magnify if you can produce planned content.
Mhm.
I don't mean necessarily like directed content where we're doing, a multi-million-dollar budget movie quality video. They do help, however. But planning your content and actually having a tactic that you're utilizing goes a long way.
Mhm.
Mine is the Downrange Natural History Museum turned into a running joke, but we've also figured out that Facebook moderation stops listening about 15 seconds into the video.
Yeah.
So I can start selling, I can auction a gun live on Facebook, and it will not kick up the I'm never going to try doing that, but it will not kick back the censor, because they only monitor so much, because they don't want to lose so much bandwidth monitoring, a 4-hour
Sure,
live stream or
sure.
a 10-minute video. We're going to make sure in the first couple of seconds that you're not violating the terms of service, and then we're going to assume that anybody internalizing the content will moderate for them, and they'll hit violate, and they absolutely will.
Yeah.
That's my shtick. But there still needs to be a plan, and I'm realizing that now too, is some of it's getting a little redundant. Okay, I need to actually have mechanisms for what we're doing. What's going to happen in this building when I get that ball rolling? And what I have in mind from our social media marketing for this place is it is going to be a elaborate, in-depth social media marketing plan, because the nature of what this building and business is going to be here, hilariously different than what I'm doing.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Oh, yeah.
That I'm
Yeah.
moving a specific product, a specific service, etc. So I can hone in on what that subject matter is going to be and kind of keep some level of consistency. So it's easier. I don't need to do 6 years of planning. Doing 18 in a row on one day makes sense, though, because then, okay, this day is just going to be my miserable day.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to do social media content, videos, posts, texts, events, coordinate all that on one shtick, and then, all right, then I just got to do the live stream at the beginning of my work day.
Right. Right.
Because those are going to be every day. I'll come in, most of the time I'll come in before my other guys. Even if I'm not working, I'll do one. The last 2 days just to keep the content going, and I've noticed it in my Facebook has told me from my, what's the term when they track all your data?
Algorithm.
Thank you.
yeah.
The
Analytics.
Right?
Or
The
analytics, yeah.
My analytics has shown that when I'm doing them every day, I'm getting much, much broader reach.
Mhm.
I was at my parents all weekend visiting with them, and I did a live stream from their basement every day because that's what I needed to be doing to make sure that it's happening. Like, hey, by the way, there's this concealed carry. Hey, we've got these rifle classes coming up, et cetera, et cetera. But you needed it helps to have an actual plan and having some diversity of content, some diversity of content, at least subject matter.
Well, and being relevant, like, right? I think somebody on social media, they can get into a rut of doing, like you said, get into a rut, and you got to get out of that, doing their own thing, but not being afraid to be a little relevant.
Yeah.
Whether people will comment negative or not, but like, relevant, like health is very controversial, right? These days, everybody has their own opinions. So I put a post out and people are like, no, that's not how it's done, or that's BS. I'm like, well, this is how I've gotten people results, but it's okay that you don't agree with me. And I feel like social media is also shifting from social media to interest media, where you almost gotta kind of be a little interesting. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think it's important to put stuff out, but I guess interesting is being kind of relevant in the world that we're living in also, if that makes sense.
Well, there's so much. There's 300 podcasts about bourbon.
Yeah.
There's 280 podcasts about business. There's probably 1,000 podcasts about health, or health science, or
a million.
Fitting.
A million of them.
Yeah, I mean, so everybody is doing it. You've got to find a way to make you stand out, and unique, and and being interesting is part of that. The influencer game, I think, has run its course. You can't have, every 17-year-old girl going and doing a little dance and then getting 1 million views.
Right.
Now you've got to have the 24-year-old girl that's got a college degree that's, talking about whatever the subject is, and people are going,
Yeah.
and you got to suck them in.
And I also think it's important, like, I don't know if it's our age or whatever. I think a lot of people do get stuck on Facebook. I do the majority of my stuff on Facebook, but I'm also like on all the other platforms. Like, right, they're all free, right? So like I have a following on Facebook, which is my, my main following, where I help people through there. But like, I mean, Snapchat, TikTok, Twitter, well,
Right.
X, Instagram, obviously. Like, I know it might seem time consuming, but like, put a post out here, there, and it could be a little different or the same, but like, you could have a different audience for free on all the different platforms.
Right.
If a small business really wanted to.
Well, and each platform gives you an opportunity to post differently. Like Facebook, you can't play commercial music, but Instagram you can. So now you've brought in, hey, you can hook somebody in with a shtick, and TikTok's something different,
If you like AC/DC, you can't put that on a Facebook video, but you can put that on a TikTok.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and people thought, for the longest time, TikTok was just people dancing and doing this stuff. Well,
It was for a long time.
it was,
Yeah.
but like, if you get on those platforms early, you know what I'm saying, and you're doing your business thing and giving, helping people, with tips and stuff like that, like, you get in on those things early, and you just like, okay, well, you got the people dancing over here or whatever. That's a lot of it. But, now it goes from, teenagers to 20-year-olds to now everybody's on it.
Yeah.
Like up to grandparents
Yep.
are on TikTok now. You know what I'm saying? So it's huge.
I was listening to a podcast this morning on the way to work, and it was a wakeboarding, wake surfing, water ski related podcast. And the guy that was on there was talking about TikTok. And he's like, I don't know, our age, 40s, 50, he's been around since I've been around. And he has like 1.3 million views or followers on his TikTok.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm a 50-year-old dude that, goes out and does flips on a wakeboard, but he's also interesting.
Yeah.
He I don't know. It's interesting to see the dynamic of, from the young kid to the, the 24-year-old skateboarder that's jumping off a building to the 50-year-old wakeboarder that's still relevant.
But that's the beauty of social media. So you have a huge segment of people that love embroidery on there, wakeboarding, guns, health. Like, there's a segment of people on all these platforms. Obviously, you're not going to appeal to everybody. That's not even that's not relevant. But you're going to have a segment of people on all these platforms that are to your niche. That your niche and love it. So,
And if you can approach it in a different way than the rest out there, you're going to attract a lot of people because they want that. It's the blue water theory.
Yeah.
Or blue water strategy. Same kind of concept. Is cool. If everybody else is doing it this way, you need to come at it from a different direction. Because if you don't, you're going to get lost in the noise.
Yeah.
And you need to have that distinction. It doesn't need to be something drastic. It might, a lot of times, it's something really simple. I will make this suggestion. Anybody that's watching that's looking to this for actual advice. If you are doing videos where you're taking FaceTime and you're just talking into the video to get information out there, I know it hurts watching yourself because it pains me every time I watch a video that I make of myself.
Me too.
Watch your stuff. And if you're new to it, bring a notepad with you. Grab a legal pad and a pen and write down, key up on specific things. Ums and uhs. The more you do it, the more those disappear.
Yeah.
Can I say this?
Please.
I'm a big person. I just am. I'll watch my videos back. I'll be like, damn, I said like 20 times. I'm like, all right, I gotta work on that. Like you were saying.
Point of note, you haven't done a ton of them tonight because I throw in the occasional too, but I key up on that specifically because I've done enough public speaking and stuff like that to kind of figure some of that stuff out. But really good, but it's a more natural conversational environment, which helps.
Yeah.
When you are doing videos, pay attention to stuff like that. I talked to another friend of mine when they were describing one of their businesses, and they like to use the term cute nonstop to describe stuff. Expand your vocabulary, because if you're only doing this, if you're saying a non-useless word, but an actual adjective that's relevant to the conversation, if you can only describe it one way, that's going to have an effect on your audience too, because they're going to look at you and they're going to go, one, they're going to get bored because you're saying the same thing and you're not giving anything relevant. Why is this one, why do you find this one attractive for whatever reason? Give me, the clothing, the material. We've discussed this with
Yep.
T-shirts before, especially. Why do we want the cheaper brand versus the more expensive brand? Oh, it's nicer. Cool. Not helpful.
Right.
Why is it better? Oh, the texture is better. The build quality is better. This one's much softer. This one's a little rougher, but the plus side is you can, I can sharpen razor blades on it and it doesn't tear.
It's self-exfoliating.
Exactly. But when you can get into the nitty-gritty of intentionally sounding more intelligent, and I'm not talking using big words for the sake of using big words, but realizing that it's real easy to get caught in that mental trap of ring around the rosy of always saying the same thing over and over and over and over and over and over,
Well,
and over again.
and you've got to be you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
using big words. I'm not a big word person. I'm not a smart man, as Forrest Gump would say. I don't use intellectual words. I talk with my mouth open, not my teeth clenched. So I'm going to say stupid things from time to time. Don't fake it.
Right.
Because people see right through it.
Yeah. People draw way more authenticity.
Absolutely.
I mean, in being, whether you do a Facebook Live, a reel, whatever, just like putting yourself out there and being, what? I look stupid. I look stupid on this video, but like, guess what? The next one's going to be a little better.
Mm-hmm.
The next one after that's going to be a little better. If I went back to my social media a decade ago when I started this, I'd be like, shaking my head. But we have to allow ourselves, like anything else, allow ourselves to fail.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And we get caught up in this where, what's Susie or Bill going to think if I put this video out? Well, if you have a product, a business, something you can help people, like, you just have to look past that.
Mm-hmm.
And be able, and whether you think you look stupid, there might be 10 people out there that, that wasn't stupid,
Yep.
even though I thought it was.
And here's the no bullshit part of this, because there is a drawback that you're touching on that is a lot broader than a lot of people realize when they start doing a lot of these videos. All of your friends and neighbors will see this shit.
Yes, they will.
So if you think you're, and you need to get past that and be all right with it. Like the first time I did the Downrange Natural History Museum thing, the sheer volume of text messages and phone calls I've got of people busting my nuts.
Yep.
Because they're like, what are you doing? This is so ridiculous. I'm like, you know what? We had to do something to get past the algorithm, because that was when Facebook was hardcore on lockdown. They wouldn't, they would sniff anything that anything we produced was getting ban alert, ban alert, ban alert. Apparently I'm monetized now. That's new. I got the announcement yesterday that they says, hey, you can be monetized. So I clicked on it so I can make money for my attention now.
Ooh,
So
you're going to get
go.
one of those
Let's
platinum
freaking go.
YouTube plaques.
I know,
soon.
right? There are 7 watchers on YouTube here. Like and
Half
share,
as many
guys.
as we have.
Yeah. But my Warbirds one, because I got the one for the airplane. I got
Oh,
a
yeah.
YouTube channel on the war. That one's actually is taking off. I've got like not huge by any means, but I've got like 800 followers, and a lot of my videos have north of 2,000 and 3,000 people that have watched them.
That's awesome.
Ironically enough, with that, and I found it funny. I never knew you had a page for that until yesterday. It showed up on my
For you page or whatever.
yeah, whatever it was. I was scrolling and I'm like, wait a minute, that was Matt.
Yeah, I haven't done a lot of content with that lately, but yeah, I was doing a ton of content, and I noticed that when I post consistently, wow, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and I've made friends on other pages that have referenced and sent people in my direction too, which has helped, and that page has actually grown, and I got the YouTube notification. You can do lives now because you've had a video north of 1,000 followers on it, and all this other stuff. I'm like, oh, cool. My TikTok for that one, same thing. I got the notification a couple weeks ago. You could now do lives on TikTok, because if you don't have a certain number of followers, page views, etc., they don't want to waste the bandwidth. I'm like, cool. I earned the bandwidth.
Right.
Yeah.
But
Right.
it was about consistency and relevance and talking to people and engaging and this is something I got from Gary Vee, because I watch a lot of his material.
He's my hero.
Some of his newer stuff's getting a little interesting. But
Yeah.
I love a lot of his references, but the one thing he says is if you're gonna do social media, the other thing you need to do is you need to interact. Every
gotcha.
single comment I get on something, I respond to.
Sure.
Hey, thanks for X, Y, Z.
Yeah.
Da, 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 da.
Yep.
every single thing that draws engagement. And if you can ask questions instead of just, hey, thanks, if you can add questions to continue the engagement, it goes through the roof. It's incredible. But he was big on that he's like, I don't care if I'll get 10,000 follows, comments on a post. I will respond. I'll disappear for 3 days, and I will respond to every single comment.
That is huge.
Because it grows your attention.
They
so
say that
much.
about the messages too. Set up the automatic reply that just says, "Hey, you've reached me during, after normal business hours. I appreciate you reaching out." Even though it's not you personally doing it, the person is getting that response and going, "Hey, they're paying attention to this."
Yeah. And they're going to get multiple notifications.
Yep.
Because I'll get 2, one for their message, one for the follow-up.
Right.
And Facebook, thankfully, is also pretty good of, hey, they sent you a text 24 hours ago. Have you responded yet?
Right.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you for the notification. Shit.
Yep.
I forgot.
Right.
Yeah.
But, and realizing you're doing this community and being able to comfortably be able to talk to your friends and family and be like, hey, yes, it's funny. Go ahead and bust my balls because they're going to bust your shit.
Yeah.
I promise they're going to make fun of you mercilessly for doing this stuff, especially if you try to do anything trendy. And a lot of the times if you follow the trendy stuff, will get you a lot more attention and gives you a lot more bandwidth.
Right.
But yeah, your friends and family are seeing this. There's no way to be like, I don't want it in my community. That's where your business likely is, unless you happen to have a business that's 6 miles away from your family. But just remember, the algorithm posts based on where you're physically located at and your followers. So if you don't have any local followers, great. But if you do, your friends and family are going to see this stuff. And yes, they're going to probably laugh at you for a lot of it. And that's okay. Like you said, you need to be comfortable with the fact that sometimes you're just going to feel and look goofy, and then it's just going to be normal.
Yeah. If I could tell you the amount of times over this past decade that through social media, like I had a friend or somebody see my post and laugh at me or be like, oh, I can't believe you posted that or whatever. Just being willing to be laughed at, made fun of. But guess what? That's fine. You gave me that, you made fun of me or whatever, but guess what? I helped that person over there lose 100 pounds and change his life.
Yep.
because
I reached him through social media and he reached out for my help. So that's okay.
Oh, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? It's stuff like that.
Yep.
And I stand by this one. I repeat it in the mirror a lot of days, especially when there's bad days. I will never take advice from somebody whose place I wouldn't want to switch with.
Yeah.
And everybody has an opinion. Oh, you shouldn't do that. That's terrible. Cool. You hate your life.
Right?
You're on your fourth divorce. Your kids hate you, and you're drunk. I have nothing for you, and it's
Right.
not even anything good you're drinking, so that doesn't help me. I don't care. I don't.
Well, in going back to the negative comments that we might get on our social media, it's like I don't get mad at them. Like when I first started on social media, I'd be like, God, that sucks. Like, why did he say that? I get a little mad, but I almost feel sorry for them now. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Because there's obviously something more there. You know what I'm saying? That they're making it a point to go on social media and make negative comments, not only on would be my post, but you can see him negatively comment on other people's posts. You know, it's like, man, I feel sorry. You know?
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
just treating everybody how you'd want to be treated, no matter the shitty comments they make to you or what. It's just as hard as it can get. It's like,
And get in the practice of writing the email and deleting the email.
yes, how many times? Or the response. Or
That's therapy.
That is therapeutic.
You stupid MF. Thank you for reaching out.
That's awesome.
I've had to do that on a number of occasions. I was stupid enough to get into because I don't get into political stuff. I follow it just so I know what's relevant and going on right now in the world, but I don't comment. I decided to comment at something the other day, and it immediately turned into a shitstorm. And I'm like, delete. I did delete that one because I'm like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
What am I doing? And this person immediately decided to, I'm going to get one over on you, and they're going through my page and all mine. And I'm like, why am I bothering with people I don't care about?
Yeah.
Delete. That was stupid. I was bored. I'm not typically that bored ever. So that was my weakness, I think, is I was bored. Because damn well, I don't sit around a lot. I keep packing new shit in there. My buddy Kevin, who works at the store now for me, the other day he kind of looks at me and goes, you're busy all the time, right? Yeah. Ever occur to you you're doing too much? You need to just back away? I'm like, oh yeah, all the time.
Yeah.
Nonstop. You just added another thing onto the pile, though. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Welcome to Downrange.
Yep.
Welcome to the life of Matt Charred.
That's funny because, and I'm sure you do it too, as business owners or just in general anymore, it's hard to say no. So I keep piling things on. I keep, Matt needs me to go help him do this. Okay, fine. We're there. Or, a couple years ago I had a situation where I was the president of the ski club. I was the president of the region. I was on the NSSA board. I was driving for the ski team. I was skiing in the ski shows. I was announcing for the ski team. We had the business going. I was starting a new team down in Rock Falls. I was doing all this stuff. And it was funny, but it also kind of pissed me off too, because it's like I would have people all the time. You do so much. I don't know how you do it. But not a single one of those people said, "Can I help you?"
Yeah.
Not that I'm begging them to help, but just the simple fact that if somebody would have said, "Hey, do you need help with anything?"
Right.
Because then, at least in my mind, I would have realized, or I would have recognized that, hey, they do understand, they do get it. But instead, it's like, I don't know how you do it. When do you have time to sleep?
Well, and I think I think sometimes that comes from like a point of, man, deep down, I need to do more. But, make that comment too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Not necessarily, but you know what I'm saying? Like, go ahead.
Oh, I have found that the best people I have in my life are the people that only say yes. They don't know how to say no.
Yeah.
And the reality of it is, we could do less if more people did that. But so many people, I can't make that. Oh, I'm so busy with all this other stuff. I'm like, I bet you're not as busy as I am.
Right.
Well, you don't have kids, you don't know. I'm like, I know people who have kids, and I also know you're sitting on your ass watching TV every night. Don't bullshit me and telling me. Yeah, and some people are legitimately, hey, I've got the kids. I've got sports every night of the week. I'm here. I get that. I understand that. Not judging that and saying, oh, you should be doing more. But you're busy. I agree. Don't pretend I'm not.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, well, you could. I'm more flexible because I don't have the kids as a, what's a good way to
Crutch.
Crutch is a good reason to be able to say no.
Yeah.
It is, and I see people that do that. They use their children as a crutch to say no.
Yeah.
But they use them as an anchor where they can't get away from it. Because I do know some parents that they live vicariously through their children. Like, oh, I couldn't do some of these things, so my kid gets to do everything to the point that they hate their lives. But that's a different conversation. Some genuinely love going to every football game and dance recital and everything every night of the week, all 12 months of the year, which is good for them. More power to them.
Right.
Most of my friends don't actually enjoy living that way. And instead of telling your kids you get one sport,
Yeah.
or you get 2 sports, 2 seasons, the rest of the year is mine to live like a human being and an adult, because that's important. But just because you're busy your way because of the way you chose to live your life doesn't mean that what I'm doing is not important. Because I've had people say, oh, you don't have kids, what you're doing is not important, we can shift your stuff around. I'm like, my livelihood's attached to what I'm doing.
Exactly.
What are you talking about?
Right.
Just because it's my business doesn't make it any. If you told your job, oh no, I can't come today, they're going to tell you to go pound rocks.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the nature of that business. Just because I'm in control just means I have to have more discipline, because somebody else isn't going to provide me that discipline.
Right.
I have to do it myself. So there's a lot of times I'm going to say, no, I can't do that because I've got to work. Because the things I will say no to is, hey, are we getting shit-faced tonight? Yeah, I'll say no to that 9 times out of 10. If it's a networking event, yeah, there's a lot of drinking in my life because of networking and certain people that not are useful to me, but mutually useful. There's mutual gain by spending time with them.
Yeah.
There is. We both learn from each other. We can expand. We relieve stress, whatever. Anybody says, hey, are you available to do X, Y, and Z? And I know that they need that cool. I will always say yes to that. 100 times out of 10, be like, shit, I have work to do. I'll just stay up late and do that afterwards. 99 times out of 100, with the exception of like, this has to get done yesterday, I will do that. If people want to go out and, hey, you want to watch the football game tonight? Nope. One, I'm not an athlete guy. And 2, it's just, I need something that's going to help me build. The people I spend time with, Fridays at 5, we just added another thing to our schedule.
Right.
But every time we get together and do those, we build more, whether it's strategy for town, strategy for business, strategy for entertainment, to bring people to the downtown, bring people to the city. We build things when we spend time together. I don't have time for people that don't build things.
Well, in that regard too, but at the same exact time, it's also decompression.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, it's also an opportunity to just sit back and go,
You don't need anything from me.
right, exactly. And but at the core of it, I wouldn't want it any other way. I don't know what I would do if I didn't have a business to run, if I didn't have a national tournament to set up or what. I don't know what I'd do to myself. I would just be like,
My scary thing is I do know what I would do, and I don't like who that person is.
Right. Yeah. I agree with that.
yeah,
Yeah. I like who I am. I like that I'm running around 100 miles an hour with my hair on fire all the time. I like that. It's probably why I'm still single. But that's neither here nor there. Sorry. Shane, what was that? Most eligible
Rochelle's
bachelor. in
most
Rochelle.
eligible bachelor.
Thank you for that one, by the way.
We missed the auction.
Yeah, we did.
Maybe
mix
we'll
the
do a
other-
live podcast auction.
We could do that.
Ooh.
We could do that. I don't know if enough people actually watch this, let alone live, to do an auction. But
Well, Mabel might be watching this week.
oh, God bless. You know, can't be lonely with farmers only. It's just- but that's just kind of my life, because I know you stack a ton of stuff into your plate too. Plus, you have the family, the kids,
Yeah.
etc. It's
Here's the thing, like, you can, people will ask you, like, how, like you were saying, how do you guys do it all or whatever, but like, you get those comments, whatever, but what the people, I always look at it like this, the people that are watching, that are seeing you do more, or seeing you do more, maybe me do more, and inspires them to do more.
Sure.
It might only be a handful of people compared to all the people that are like, no, I can't do that. But for those people, it's huge. And it's for those select few people, could change things for them dramatically. And I think that's just a different perspective to look at it. And that's the way I look at it, you know.
and touch on something we were talking about, the always saying yes thing, especially new stuff. I've found that some of the best opportunities I've got in my life were coming from saying yes. And I'll say yes to the weirdest shit. I did something a couple months ago. I got asked, a friend of mine who I met at just a generic business networking event. They had a couple of speakers and all that good jazz, but met a ton of cool, very, very cool people at that event. But one of them called me up a couple weeks ago. He's like, hey, we've got a networking event downtown Chicago. You want to come? I'm like, what's the event? He's like, it's a fashion networking event. What? It's like, yeah, it's a women fashion event. There's going to be a photographer. We're taking pictures of everybody, drinks. And I'm like, you know what I do, right? Downtown Chicago, arms dealer. How are these? What? In a politically opposed kind of occupation. I'm like, and I can't even use my other job and be like, oh yeah, I'm a cop. That's not better. Come on out. It'll be a good time. You know what? Fuck it. Let's full send. We're going to go. I grabbed my sports coat, went out there. I did not make any actual professional connections. Like you, I am actually an introvert. You put me in a room full of a bunch of people I don't know, and I'd rather sit in the corner and just hope
Yeah.
somebody comes and talks to me. I'm not good at just baking. Depending on the circumstances and what my relation is to an event, I can go up and cold talk to people. If I'm part of, when we were doing the Young Professionals, I was helping host and run that event. I could walk to everybody in that room because everybody's supposed to know who I am.
Right.
If I'm a random arms dealer at a fashion, I don't know how to talk to people in that environment.
Yeah.
So I'm just I kind of sat back and watched. But what I did learn was every guy you could ever imagine was at this event. Scumbag looking fellas, whatever. They could walk up to everybody. The most beautiful woman in the room, the ugliest person in the room, whatever. Did not matter. They'd walk up to everybody and everybody talks back. Nobody's like, I don't want any part in this. Which is kind of shocking from that particular field because there's almost an ambiance that says that might not be true. Did not matter. Everybody just wanted to connect, and it was an education for me. So that's what I did bring out of that, was an education, just watching other people, how they work a room. Grab a drink. Hey, how are you doing? What are you doing here? Are you here for the show? Because there's a lot of people that have nothing to do with the fashion industry that showed up to that networking event, probably because they were there for pretty girls. Fine and great. But everybody's just talking and getting along, and nope, there's nothing to gain from this one. Don't particularly like you. You move on to the next one, and you bump into each other, and it was interesting to put myself in an environment where I had no connection, no knowledge, no nothing, and watching other people who are in the same boat and watching them successfully kind of work rooms and talk. And some people made connections they didn't expect. And some of the connections I've made with people are people that are nothing to do with my industry. Some of my best customers are car guys.
Right.
I hosted an event at my property for a AMS Performance. They build nothing but supercars. That's all they build. A buddy of mine, one of my oldest friends, was like, hey, would you mind if we came out for a day? I'm like, yeah, cool. Let's just hang out and have a fun time. I've made tens of thousands of dollars off of that group of guys just by letting them come out and play. I didn't charge them nothing. They didn't use any of my stuff other than shot some of my guns, but they used their own ammunition. They came out. They had a good time. It was great. Lifelong friends now with a bunch of them. One of my soon-to-be business partners, I met through those guys. I never would have made that connection, and that's just one of those. Just sometimes you just got to say yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And you just touched on it. Something that hit with me is whether through like going to the networking events or social media, I've made so many friends that might not even have had like reached out to me to help with my services, but they liked just my content or just going to the networking event. Like they're my friends now.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I think that's really awesome where like our grandparents never had that opportunity to be on social media or whatever. Like I don't even care that you are my client or whatever, but we're friends now, and like those are connections I never would have made. And
That's how we got to be friends.
yeah, I know.
We met at the Young Professionals event. Was the first time we met in person because we've been friends on Facebook for freaking ever, just in a small town.
Yeah.
We met at that one, and that's when we started talking after that event.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
It's just really cool. I have some good friends, not out of state now that are met through business, social media, and it's just really cool. And honestly, I probably have friends on social media right now that I've never met in person that we have such a strong connection on there. If I met them in person, we could sit down immediately and have a beer together.
Sure. Right.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And shoot the shit. Like it's just really cool. Regardless of business or not. It's just cool.
Yep.
Something to think about. for
The
everybody out
positives of social media.
there. Yeah.
There are perks. I've met
Yeah.
some of my closest friends are down in Lexington, Kentucky area. I go down there whenever I can, and we hang out. We talk guns. We have done crazy business together. We've done all sorts of bonker stuff. And like you said, it's the glories of social media.
And you go to Buffalo Trace.
I have not been to Buffalo Trace.
You
I
gotta
have
go
not
to
been.
Buffalo Trace. I'm not even a bourbon fan, like I was telling you guys, but it's really cool
Mhm.
to go there.
One of these days.
I've not done the Bourbon Trail.
I need to. I stop in Lexington every go down there. One of my closest friends is down there, and every time we talk about it, it's like we need to come down for a weekend and get the bus, because there's the Bourbon Trail bus.
Yeah.
Start in Lexington and just have them take us to all of them, and
Yep.
come back and see if we're still alive on the back end.
Yeah, right.
Fully supportive of this.
That's
Yep.
awesome.
I think we're close to our hour. We're right around there, I think. What do you got?
Yeah. Turn my alarm off. That's what I got.
Oh, that's not helpful.
Hour and 6.
Hour and 6.
Wow.
Anything else
Feedback.
you'd like to touch on before we kind of wind the official storytelling down?
I don't think so. I think we covered a lot. I really appreciate you guys having me on. Great conversation. And I guess just a couple things is, just especially one thing, and we've touched on it a lot, don't be afraid to get out of your comfort zone,
Mm-hmm.
right? If you know you can help somebody do something better or have a business that can help people, make people happy, don't be afraid, because people are looking for it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not everybody, but there's people out there
Mhm.
looking for you. So
Yep.
leave it at that.
Shane?
What do you think of the new drinkware?
I'm loving the new drinkware. The whole Rochelle map and everything.
Yeah.
I will say, fellas, that I told you earlier, I'm a little disappointed. This is gonna be the first show where we don't get to use a drinkware.
I mean, we can. There's plenty of bourbon in every room. We can do it. We can do a taste test. to
I'm
try.
just giving you shit. I get it.
I'm
but
just saying, if you're gonna challenge
I'll take a
me,
rain check.
But it's beautiful. Where? Yeah, I like this. This is great.
Where's it from?
The shop.
The shop.
Yeah.
That's
Yep.
awesome.
Yeah, something new we're doing. So we brought these in last year. The coasters are new. We needed some liveliness in
That's
here.
awesome.
We do. We need
Love it.
We need to get a backdrop because Brad disappeared. The top of his head is gone.
This hat.
Oh, that's
He's
true.
half a head.
It is. I didn't even realize that.
Yeah, because we need to do something for a backdrop. We're working on it. It's a work in progress, guys. Day jobs and whatnot, developing this. But I'm going to be here all day Sunday, so that might get worked on. So if you're bored, stop by.
I might.
My big thing is our toy drive is going to be, well, no, it's still going to be ongoing. This Sunday, toy drive is going to be here, so anybody that brings a toy gets to make a donation. This isn't going to post until next week, though. But our toy drive is for Shining Star Children Advocacy Center. They need unwrapped, new and packaged toys, bath and body stuff, whatever, from birth to age of 18, basically, for any kids that use that center and use the resources. They do a Christmas event every year. They need everything basically by Black Friday. So Black Friday is going to be our last day of collecting stuff. We'll take stuff after that, but the official day for their Christmas party needs to be that Black Friday. They can drop it off at my shop anytime. Anybody Sunday, though, they come and drop something off here, they also get a free tour. So I'll give them the nickel tour of all the public spaces, see the stuff that we're working on and what this is going to look like. So if anybody's been wondering what the weird construction's going on in this building and what the long-term view is, this Sunday is the one to take a look at. But that doesn't help anybody watching the video. But anybody who does want to donate, Downrange, 303 Cherry Avenue, we're open Mondays, Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays during the day. We're open until 6 p.m. Please come by. Toys, anything that'd be good for kids, unwrapped, because they will assign it to the kids based on what gets taken in. So if anybody can donate, that would be huge. Much appreciated. Thank you, everyone, for that one. With that being said, thank you for coming on.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate you guys.
Great day of discussion. Thank you, co-host. You do a great job.
Thanks, host.
Thank you, everybody, for tuning in, and we'll catch you on the next video.